It's week 2 already. You're probably thinking, where the hell did that fly? Now, the weeks really will go by, okay? And as they say, time flies when you're having fun, and I hope you are. So this is week 2. This week, again, we're still following that meal template. Some of you might be a little bit ahead of the game. I know this does happen, and you might have already found that little app called MyFitnessPal, and you might already be checking and tracking a few of your foods, and that's absolutely fine. So week 2, we want to look over tracking progress, because it's really important to track our progress so we know that what we're doing is working and we're moving in the right way. Now, you females out there, I know you get hung up on one way of tracking, and that is the scales. We're going to go over today exactly how, to track your progress moving forward, and some other tools which maybe you might not have thought of, or maybe you actually don't use usually, to make sure that we can ensure that we're getting the best, variables and measurables back to make progress forward. So, you will see on the downloadable resources today, we've also given you a female optimization guide. Now, you females obviously have something called the menstrual cycle, okay? That is complete obvious. What happens though is throughout those different times of the cycle, there's actually a lot of different things that happen to your body, which can cause a lot of different changes in your body, which can actually affect the way that you see tracking progress. So you're going to see in our tracking progress sheet that we track weight, but not only when we track weight, we actually track measurements. We also track our photos, and we'll also talk to you briefly, inside the group. You'll see this. We'll talk about often how your energy feels and stuff like that. So you'll see me and Hayden saying, how's your energy? How's your hunger? And these little things kind of give us almost another insight into actually how you're progressing, as well as actually progressing just how you're getting on with your meal template and your nutrition. So how are you feeling? Are you stressed? Are you enjoying what you're eating? Is there anything you want to change, add in? Do you feel like maybe, you know what, I need to add in some more foods just for enjoyment, just because I'm finding it a little bit hard to adhere to? So any of these little movements forward and these little things that you can take away that are positives, they're all little signs of tracking progress. So not only the scales, but also all these other little biofeedback is what we call them as well. So you'll also see inside the female optimization guide, we'll talk a lot about the scales and how these can fluctuate. Now, the scales can fluctuate for actually a really huge amount of reasons. A lot of it can be down to stress. We get a lot of water retention, and also the fluctuation in hormones throughout your menstrual cycle. That causes a lot of these problems as well. But when you download the downloadable resource, you'll be able to find out exactly what all of the answers are to the probably unburning questions that you have that are underlying. So hopefully this should answer. And again, as we always say, any questions once reading through the female optimization guide, please just drop them into a group and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. The reason we always say this is that if you have a question and you ask that question in the group, it gives us a chance to answer it in front of everyone. So someone might not be confident enough to ask the question themselves, and then they'll actually get the answer to their question because you've managed to jump in and confidently ask us that question. As well as underneath that, obviously, as we said, you're going to have your progress sheet. So your progress sheet is where you're just going to write down your daily calories, your daily weigh-in, as well as actually your measurements and your photos. Now, this is really important, because obviously what gets measured gets managed. So if we actually know how things are moving, if anything ever needs to be made adjustments to, or we need to change things to make it better for you so you get better results, we're now going to have this sheet that during your check-ins, which we spoke about last week, which you should all do every single week on a Wednesday, is book in that check-in call, because it gives us something now that we can view not only your feedback that you give to us verbally over the phone, but we can actually look at your tracking sheet and be like, okay, cool. So we can actually see why your weight jump up. Okay, maybe your calories are a little bit over. Let's see why our calories are over. Or maybe your protein's under. Let's look at different ways we can implement some more protein to help increase that slightly. So this tracking sheet is not only really important for you, but it's actually really important for us to actually have an overview of exactly what's going on in your world so that we can make the necessary adjustments and habits and little steps forward with you to make sure that we're definitely progressing. So when you get this sheet, you'll also see that it says make a copy. Now, this is an online document that you need to make a copy. So we've made a master copy. So when you click and it loads up on your computer or your laptop or your iPad, it will come up. That is the master copy for everyone. So you shouldn't, and please do not write on that or change that one. What you do is you need to make yourself a copy. So you simply go to File and you go down to Make a Copy. That way you will then see it upload as well. And it will simply say copy of the tracking progress sheet, and that'll be your one. If you're unsure, please take a screenshot or a picture, post it in the group and say, I think I've done this right, please can you check, because if you don't do it right, what happens is you'll be writing on the master document and everyone will see your name and see your weights and calories and we'll find you. I'm joking, it doesn't really matter, we can help you out and we can just make another copy for you, but if you could just make your own copy, it saves us a bit of time as well. So what we want you to do is read through the female optimization guide. We also want you to download and make a copy of that tracking progress sheet. From there, what you're going to do now, okay, going into week 2 is make sure you're tracking all your progress. You've probably been writing things down in week 1 anyway, okay? So what we're going to do is now you've got a sheet that you can actually purposely input all of your data on. So it's your calories, your protein, your weight, your measurements, and your photos, okay? Because obviously these things we're going to use to make sure we're going in the right direction. Please, 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 if you do have any problems, just reach out to myself or Hayden. And again, if you have any questions, just fire them into the group. Again, as I always say, if you have a question and we can answer it in the group, someone else might take something away from that. So, week 1 is done and dusted. We are now on to week 2. If you still haven't booked in your check-in from last week, I please highly suggest you do, because these are your check-ins. These are your check-ins that you can check in with us on a one-to-one basis, so we can make sure you're making the right movements forward. And also any steps or habits we need to put in place to help you, we can, and we can just discuss everything. And this is literally what we're here for 24/7. If you didn't manage to attend the live last night on Sunday, okay, you can also watch that back on a replay, so that will always be saved in the group as well. Apart from that, I wish you all the best for week 2. You're going to smash your goals, as I'm sure you already are. We're now going to get to track our progress, so make sure you make a copy of that sheet, because this week when you check in, myself and Hayden are going to need to see that sheet so we can make sure that we can actually get an overview of your progress. And apart from that, kill the week, have awesome fun, ask questions, stay interactive, and remember, please make a copy. Okay, enjoy week 2 and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.